games, so you're not going to see an Ohio State team that's really at their best. Michigan has just come off an amazing win against Indiana after that bounce-back game against Minnesota on a buzzer beater. They are looking to keep this hot streak going and to advance themselves as one of the best teams in the nation.
Yeah, the Michigan offense looked really good down in Bloomington at Assembly Hall, but how about the defense? Just as good. They were up 17-0 to start the game. Another stifling defensive performance by the Wolverines and Coach Shacklich, the defensive coordinator for the Wolverines.
You're always going to see great rotation off the Michigan defense. You know, this was one of the Beeline's best defensive units he's ever had, and one of the most defensive, instinctive units he's ever had. Their ability to get off pressure and switch on opposing units is impeccable. It's just going to be a lot bigger test against Ohio State, against a rival that wants to beat you, than it will be in Bloomington, Indiana. However, we are at the home crowd, so maybe we'll have a better shot.
Yeah, in terms of this game, the Ohio State Buckeyes are led by Ford, number 34, Caleb Weston, 14.9 points per game, 6.8 rebounds per game. And he's surrounded by some pretty good three-point shooters in C.J. Jackson and Luther Muhammad. For Michigan, I think the big question in this game is who's going to be coming off the bench for the backup center. Last game we saw Brandon Johns. The entire season we thought it was Austin Davis. Who's going to back up Teskey if he gets into foul trouble today, you think?
You know, if we back up Teskey, we may be in a little trouble and have to survive a little bit of a loss just in case he gets hurt. He gets down in some trouble. But at the end of the day, it's got to be Brandon Johns. Austin Davis has just not seemed to have it all click. He's a little slow out there. Brandon Johns, at least athletically, can compete with a bunch of these athletes that you'll be seeing in the Big Ten. However, he is a freshman. That might be against John Beeline's decision out there.
Now, how about Ignas Brastakis, the leading scorer on the Michigan Wolverines? He's averaging, I believe, 15.2 points per game as a freshman, and he had a little rut, 3 or 4 games to start the Big Ten play at the New Year, but he definitely bounced back with 20 points against the Hoosiers on Friday.
You're right. Ignas Brastakis will be the factor tonight. As we all know, he has had stretches when he's gone really, really quiet. But, as of late, he's picking it back up again. He's become the vocal scoring leader of this team. And of all the games, we know Ignas Brastakis has a lot of heart and a lot of fire in his gut. Of all the games you're going to find that fire, you're going to find against a rival like Ohio State, especially when you're getting ready for a matchup against Michigan State later next week.
Yeah, that's true. The Big Ten play, once it starts, it never stops. You got to take one game at a time, and you cannot take any game, even at home against your rival who's lost their last 5 out of 6 games, lightly. This is a good Ohio State team, a well-coached team by Chris Holtmann, who won Big Ten Coach of the Year. But the Wolverines are hot. Obviously, they lost 2 games ago against Wisconsin, but this is going to be a good one. The Buckeyes shoot 35.9% from deep, a pretty good three-point shooting team, but they're also playing against one of the best defenses in the country. So we're in for a good one. Once again, this is WCBN FM 88.3 Ann Arbor. This is a proud presentation of WCBN Sports. It's the number 5 Wolverines facing off against the Ohio State Buckeyes in this Big Ten Conference play game. The Wolverines ready to go out of their huddle. Beeline giving his last words before they match up. It's going to be Wesson taking the tip against the big man for the Wolverines in the center, John Teskey, who's been great this season. John Teskey, it was a big question losing Mo Wagner last year to the draft. He was drafted by the Lakers. He was drafted by the Lakers, and people thought, and you also lost Muhammad Ali, Abdul-Rahman, and Duncan Robinson. Those are 3 of our biggest scorers, and people thought Michigan's offense was going to struggle, but at the beginning of the season, they got off to a good start. They blew the doors off of Villanova. It seems like nothing was lost from last season offensively.
If anything, stuff has been gained, especially on defense. It's going to be interesting to see what happens as the game starts to get going on.
It's the 11th straight sellout here in Chrysler Arena. The stadium is not exactly full. I see a few open seats, but pretty good job by this crowd. It's freezing out there.
Hats off to the students.
Ball goes to the Buckeyes. C.J. Jackson to bring it up. Xavier Simpson on defense. Up top. Yellow. Looking for Yesson down low. Gets a ball screen. Wesson picks and pops. Open 3. Decides to take it. And nails it. John Teskey not able to rotate over there on the pick and pop. Wesson with the first 3 points of the game.
Good rotation by the Buckeyes out there.
Simpson to bring it up. Brastakis on the right wing to Matthews. Looking for a ball screen from Teskey. Doesn't get it. Back up to Simpson. Michigan looking a little lost on the first possession here. Sampson gets the ball screen from Teskey, looks for him down low. He's got the mismatch, and he finishes. That was Luther Muhammad on defense, definitely undersized there, and that's a 7-footer Teskey coming right into you.
What a finish from Teskey, just that brute force that he brings in there.
Jackson to bring it up. Finds Muhammad on the right wing, gets a screen from Wesson. Out to Muhammad. Wesson down low. He's double teamed. He kicks it to the corner. And that's Muhammad for 3. Misses it, but he gets his own rebound. No foul called, but he gets the bucket to go anyway. It's 5-2 Buckeyes.
Bad defense all around by the Michigan, not switching around quick enough to make up for that shot.
5 early here in the run screen. Top. Jackson rejects the ball screen, goes baseline. Wolverines thought he was out of bounds on the baseline, but no call there. And Bryce Dacus picks off the steal. And he's coming down court in transition, finds Matthews, steps back, and they'll get into their set. Bryce Dacus up top, turns it to Simpson, who's got space behind the back. Good defense there by C.J. Jackson. That's going to be a good matchup to watch today. Bryce Dacus backs up, 8 on the shot clock. Drives right. Nice steal there, but he gets it back. Fumbles it around, ends up shooting the backboard. Buckeyes down the other way.
You got to be ready to pass more often if you're Ignace Brazdeikis. You had open receivers, and you decided just to take it in the gut for yourself.
Jello down low, and a wide open C.J. Jackson. Charles Matthews tried to block it, but a nice basket cut, and that's what happens if you're double teamed. You come to the ball, and the defense was kind of on their heels there. 7-2 Buckeyes. Simpson gives it to Poole. Poole gets a screen from Teskey. Teskey up top. Simpson around the ball screen with that famous hook shot, and what a shot there. He's bringing it back. We bring it up every broadcast, but he's so effective at it, and it's really good because he's a short player, and really, essentially, no one can block it. Even Wesson right there, the 6'9" sophomore, tried to block it.
You know, if you're little like Simpson, you got to find a way to get around bigger defenders. And if not only has he found a way to do that, he's found a way to get the crowd into it as well.
Five on the shot clock. Muhammad gets a screen. Finds Wesson. He's got to shoot it. And he didn't even realize it. And the Michigan crowd getting loud here in Chrysler. And they're on their feet.
You got to love that. The crowd is into it. They're distracting the players out there. Even though Ohio State has played very well on offense recently, they still have to account for the noise level at Chrysler Arena.
It's definitely underrated in terms of best or hardest places to play in the Big Ten. Obviously, the Breslin Center is up there. Assembly Hall, which Michigan played last Friday, is up there. But when this team's playing well and they're the number 5 team in the country, the fans show up. Poole gets a screen, passes to Simpson. Thought about it. That jab step, short, I believe it was blocked by Wesson, but Teskey was there, misses the follow-up. That would have been a nice second chance point. And here come the Buckeyes. Jallo misses the 3. Ill-advised shot, and Poole comes down the other way and finishes.
That's what you like to see on the fast break. Quick points, quick buckets, keep the defense on their feet.
Jordan Poole kind of leaked out there, and Xavier Simpson, who's averaging 6.8 assists per game, one of the best point guards in the Big Ten, finds his guard, Jordan Poole, for the easy layup. 7-6 Buckeyes still. C.J. Jackson finds Wesson. Gets a ball screen. Makes a nice cross-court pass to number 1. That's Muhammad, and he had a very nice game against Nebraska. He hit 3 out of 4 threes, and he's continuing it here tonight with that nice 3. And that's what you got to do on the ball screen. If 2 guys are going to double team, you got to make a tough pass, and Michigan can just kind of tip their cap there. That's a tough pass. You give that to them all day.
The passing and the off-ball movement has been what's very, very impressive by the Buckeyes so far. Michigan needs to get better at switching on that, or else they're going to get burned by it all night.
And Ohio State in a zone defense right now. That's what they did against Nebraska last Friday. They kind of switched it up and keeping the offense on their heels, and they get a steal out of it. 10-6 Buckeyes. Jackson finds Wesson down low. Teskey's got him. Backs in, sticks with his left, and a nice finish there over Teskey. And there he is. That's going to be a matchup to watch all night. Wesson going up against the 7-footer Teskey. Ohio State switches back to a man-to-man defense. Simpson and Poole up top. Simpson gets a screen. And now Ohio State switches back to the zone defense, and Poole comes off the screen. Open shot off the dribble at the top of the key. Just missed it. Hit the rim twice. And Jackson looking for in transition the way. Here he comes. But the Buckeyes are coming down the other side. Jackson goes right into Simpson, and that will bring us to the first media timeout with 13:53 left in the first half. 12-6 Ohio State. Ohio State's offense looking pretty good right here.
Ohio State's offense looking really good. They're moving the ball very well and switching off ball, something Michigan has not been doing. All game I've been watching, you see Michigan moving maybe 2 or 3 guys the whole play and having 2 people stay stationary. One thing needs to change moving forward. Jordan Poole needs to take better shots. It's great to have that confidence. You're going to need that down the stretch, especially when tough shots need to be taken. But unfortunately, right now it's early in the game. Feel them out. Learn how they're going to cover you on defense. Don't take the hero balls now.
Yeah.
Shoot open shots and don't shoot fadeaways.
I agree with that. You know, I like the jab step. I know he can make that shot, but early in the shot clock, I think you can get a better look and get something better through the sets. And how about Ohio State? You know, they switched to a 2-3 zone there, and the next possession switched to man. What does Michigan have to do? Obviously, Xavier Simpson has to call it out, but they're kind of putting Teskey in the middle against that zone. It'll be interesting to see how many times Ohio State switches that defense up.
Yeah, it's been odd because they also switched to a press defense. So it reminds me of something what we're going to have to do back in I think it was a 2014 tournament against VCU, and they would press us the whole time, and we found a way to pass through that and get through the press. And when you get through the press, you're only having 3 guys, potentially 4-on-3 matchup. So if you can do good transition offense, you can find a way to get easy buckets and force their hand. That's what Michigan needs to do.
And I agree with that. You know, when you use a transition offense, you're not allowing the defense or the zone to get set, and it turns into a 3-and-2. And Jordan Poole with that nice look right there for their 6th point of the game. Leaked out, and Xavier Simpson found him before the defense can get set. We'll see if we can see more of that. But right now, Buckeyes have complete control.
Yeah, and the only other thing I would really want to see it more is that more Teskey in the offense. But he missed 2 finish-ups. Like, I don't expect Teskey to miss those often.
Yeah.
Like, that's not incredibly scary to me. I want to see Braz Dink more.
Is 8-1 in the conference. If they win tonight, they will be tied with their in-state rival Michigan State at 9-1, leading the conference. And Michigan has done a pretty good job this year of escaping some of those close games. At Northwestern a few games ago against Minnesota, obviously they lost to Wisconsin, but they've kind of set themselves at the top and avoid the chaos at the bottom, which is huge because once you're in the chaos at the bottom, you're stuck there. You saw Maryland; they lost it to Illinois at the Garden on Saturday. Anything can happen in this conference. You got to pull out those close games.
Yeah, exactly. That's something you really need to see out of Michigan is the ability to close games. When you don't have a very deep bench, you need to learn how to get those leads quick, and when it comes down to it, your clutch players need to be clutch. Jordan Poole has always had a clutch in his veins since the day he came on campus. Iggy shows that he has the aggressiveness to be very clutch. This team trusts its system, and it trusts its players even more.
At the bottom of the conference is Penn State, 0-9. Illinois got their 2nd win in the conference. Schedule 2-7. They beat Maryland on Saturday. A huge upset up at the Garden. Maryland was ranked 14. And Purdue with one heck of a win at home against Michigan State. They looked really good. Carson Edwards looks good. Ryan Klein looks good. Matt Harm's getting better every day, replacing Isaac Haas. And, you know, Michigan, you know, destroyed Purdue earlier in the year, but they won't get them again. Too bad in the regular season. That'd be a really good game. But Purdue is going to be a hard test for anyone in the Big Ten for the rest of the year.
Almost definitely. I mean, they're showing that they can play with the big teams, and they're willing to hang in there. They just got to worry about the hero ball of Carson Edwards sometimes.
Yeah, he'll take 25, 30 shots a game almost. Back here in action, Charles Matthews takes a step-back fadeaway on the baseline, ends up getting fouled. Foul was on number 24, Andre Wesson. Charles Matthews at the line, an improved free throw shooter. Shooting 61% at the line, but in fact, that is better than last year. Obviously, his struggles last year continued throughout the season. Makes the first one of 2. In fact, the entire team improved at free throw shooting. Maybe not Jordan Poole. I know he was an extremely good free throw shooter last year, but Xavier Simpson in particular. He had a few good games free throw shooting last year at Michigan State, but other than that, it was a despicable season from the free throw line for the Wolverines. But they're definitely improving, and you have to. Once March comes around, you got to make the shots from the charity line.
Very much. You got to take what the defense gives you, and when they put you up, they know Charles Matthews isn't the best free throw shooter, so they're going to play aggressive on him.
Number 4, DeJuan Washington Sr. checks in for the Buckeyes. Jackson gets a screen from Wesson. Nice switch there. Almost caused a travel by C.J. Jackson. Not called. Washington for 3. Rims out. Wesson with the rebound. Backs right into Teskey. Switches to his left. Kicks out to Jackson. New shot clock reset. Jackson falls on the ground. Makes a pass from the ground. And a foul is finally called amidst all the chaos on Charles Matthews as the Chrysler Center boos the refs there. A pretty chaotic possession there for the Buckeyes. They end up getting an offensive rebound, though.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, but the refs are doing what they got to do. They know there was a foul there somewhere, but there was also a travel there somewhere. It'll even out by the end.
Charles Matthews gets his first foul, and actually first team foul of the game for the Wolverines. Isaiah Livers, the sophomore forward, checks in for the Wolverines. Washington from the inbounds pass misses the jumper, and here come the Wolverines in transition, like you said, Andrew. Simpson gets a quick ball screen. Passes off to Brazdeikis, who gets fouled and misses the layup, but will go to the line to shoot 2.
Amongst all that chaos, you saw Ignas Brazdeikis have great body control under contact. That's what you love to see out of a guy, even though if he didn't make the shot.
And perhaps our question about which center will back up Teskey will be answered right about now as Brandon Johns is ready to check in. Brazdeikis makes the front half. He's shooting 78% from the free throw line this year. Pretty impressive for the freshman from Ontario, Canada. Brandon Johns only averaging 4.2 minutes per game, but he got about 10 down at Assembly Hall on Friday and gave some pretty good minutes for the Wolverines. And Brazdeikis makes the second one, cutting the deficit to 2 points. 12:42 left here in the first half. Buckeyes up by 2. Keyshawn Woods gets a screen to Andre Wesson. Washington fumbled it. Back to Woods. Handoff to Jackson. Ohio State Buckeyes running a weave action here. Wolverines doing a lot of switching. And Woods drives right on Poole. Good defense. But the finish there by Jaden Lade.
You got to come out of that mess with the ball there. You had 3 Michigan guys and maybe 2 Ohio State guys. You got to come with the ball in that situation. It gave him an easy look when none of them had it.
Excuse me, that was Jaden Ledee, and a ticky-tack foul called there on C.J. Jackson. Chris Holtman not happy with the referees. Chris Holtman came into the Big Ten last year with a few new coaches, with Brad Underwood, Archie Miller at Indiana, and Chris Holtman at Ohio State, obviously. It's going to be interesting to see how these 3 coaches do. Underwood struggling a little bit, Miller struggling a little bit, but for the most part, Chris Holtman has done a really good job with this team. They made the tournament last year. They're right on the border now, but they're a talented team, and he can definitely recruit.
Yeah.
Brazdeikis with the finish.
I mean, he beat Michigan and Michigan State last year.
Yeah.
You know, that's a hard feat to do in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The fact that you came in the first is just a credit to him as a coach. As much as it is, he is new and he used to be a coach at Butler. I think Buckeye fans should be very proud of what they have in Holman.
3-point field goal there. Andre Wesson, he's averaging 8.5 points per game. And he's actually shooting 43% from 3. Pretty good for the big man. Stretching the floor right there. Ohio State in that press defense switches back into the zone defense. The Wolverines using Brandon Johns in the middle. Poole gets a quick look. Misses the 3 and a long rebound finds Simpson out at the perimeter, and they'll reset. 17-12. Buckeyes lead it. 10:53 left in the first half. This is WCBN FM 88.3 Ann Arbor, a proud presentation of WCBN Sports. And Brandon Johns gets a second offensive rebound in this possession. Poole for 3, wide open, and there it goes. Third try there for the Wolverines. Third time it works.
You know, that was just great off-ball movement. Slight move, trying to shake, and he was open for a good open 3.
You love to see that confidence. He's missed his few threes this possession, but he's able to use that confidence and take a quick one. Not even a second thought about it. And here come the Wolverines after a steal. Livers drives on Muhammad, spins to his left, and is fouled. Michigan using that transition offense again, and that will bring us to our second media time.
On your team. What? Even if he's shooting bad, he can. He's shooting bad. Then Jordan Poole.
Yeah, he's shooting 42% of the year, so he'll have a row, but he'll have runs where he'll make 5 in a row, 6 in a row. I mean, he's gone on a few stretches where he's gone 4. Coach Beeline has done an extremely good job. Yeah, and, Coach Beeline will take a player out for a mental mistake defensively, but if Jordan Poole misses a few shots, he's not going to get mad at himself. He's going to get back on defense and make the next shot, and that's what he's been doing all season. And he's one of the best sophomores in the country, in my opinion. A couple of Big Ten Player of the Year honors actually this year for Poole. His backcourt guard, Brosdakis, has actually had a couple of Big Ten Freshman of the Week honors this year. So Michigan, a lot of accolades in the season, but it's the Big Ten Conference. You got to take one game at a time.
Yeah. You got, especially with the tourney coming up, we could see as many as 10, 11 teams from the Big Ten make that tourney. So we want to see that. So beating the Big Ten is not a small feat anymore, as much as it would have been like 5 years ago.
No, yeah, not even close. It's a deep conference this year, arguably the deepest in the Power Five. In terms of the upcoming schedule, Michigan travels to Iowa City to play Iowa on Friday, a 7 p.m. tip. They play away. They stay on the road away at Rutgers on Tuesday, and then they come home Saturday, February 9th, against the 24th ranked Wisconsin Badgers, who got the best of Michigan last Saturday in a tough battle up in Madison, Wisconsin, Wisconsin is looking good. Reavers, the sophomore big man, looks good. He can hit from three, and obviously Ethan Happ, one of the most effective big men in the country. That's going to be a fun game here at Chrysler Center on February 9th. But back to this game. Livers shoots 78% from three. From the free throw line. Doesn't get to the line as much as you'd like to see him with his size. You think he'd take a little more looks to the basket. He kind of settles for three sometimes, but he makes the second one, bringing the deficit down to 1, the closest it's been since Ohio State hit a 3-point field goal to start the game off 3-0. 10 minutes left here in the first half, 17-16 Buckeyes. Wesson. And a lob pass right to number 2. That's Musa Hello, and the Buckeyes end up turning it over, and the Wolverines end up turning over on the other end as they try to force something down low to Bryce Dacus. Couldn't finish down low. Here are the Buckeyes. Nice entry pass there. And Chris Holtman looking for a foul there. That was Wesson down low with the left-hand finish. His right arm was risky, but no foul called. Just a 2-point basket. 19-16 Buckeyes.
Regardless of everything, that was great use of the body by Jordan Poole. He threw himself at that ball and we were able to get the transition, although not the bucket.
Teskey up top. Poole. Livers turns it to Simpson. Simpson rejects the ball screen, is fouled out on the perimeter. Number 32, Keyshawn Woods. Charles Matthews to check in. And number 10, Aarons, whose playing time has increased this year with the injured Kyle Young, the 6'8 sophomore forward. A really good rebounder, was injured a few games ago against Maryland. A couple of these Ohio State players are seeing a lot more minutes with that injury. Poole to inbound, gets a screen from Matthews. Turns it to Matthews, looks for a three up top, and misses it. Good luck there for the Wolverines, though.
Yeah, pretty good look. Great movement off the dribble, and great movement around the dribble, especially.
Charles Matthews, definitely an improved three-point shooter from last year. You like to see him hit a little more from the outside, though, because he can definitely stretch the floor with his size.
Yeah, always amazes me how one can stretch the floor, but yet to make free throws.
Muhammad up top. Michigan playing stifling defense, and Xavier Simpson with good hands steals it from Wesson, takes it back, and Michigan will get set up here on offense. Xavier Simpson tried the hook shot without using the backboard. A pretty hard shot there. Livers for three. Got it, and he ties up the game at 19. And that's what offensive rebounds do. That's the best time to shoot a three-point shooter, or to find a three-point shooter, off an offensive rebound.
Yeah, great three-point shooter, and great with a guy in his face. That's what you really like to see. You were talking about earlier how you wanted to see him take more three throws, but yet he is there. He is always on the wing, ready for a good shot.
That's his spot. Isaiah Livers is so good from the corner. The Buckeyes get an offensive rebound of their own. That was, I believe, Woods on the rebound. Woods turns it to Muhammad. Finds Wesson down low. Switches denied by Teskey. What a block. Gets an offensive rebound. Misses another one. But a foul is called on Wesson, I believe. And that will bring us to our third media timeout. But a costly foul there. That's his second of the game. Rather a stupid foul as well. I mean, the Michigan Wolverines were going down the other end.
Yeah. You know, when you get the rebound, you need to let them go and get back in transition on defense. If you get too aggressive, you can make silly mistakes like that. And unfortunate of the Wolverines. And also, you can just allow them to get behind you and have one less person on defense.
Exactly. And Wesson looks like that foul was kind of out of frustration after getting blocked by Teskey and then missing that bunny right over Teskey after the offensive rebound. But the Wolverines have tied it. They've yet to see a lead this game, though. Looking at college basketball scores around the country on this Tuesday night games. Texas beat Kansas by 10, 73-63. Virginia pulls out a very close one against NC State, 66-65. A lot of these games have gone final with the late start here in Ann Arbor, 9 p.m. due to ESPN broadcasting schedules.
When you look at Alabama, they have really improved as a team. I mean, they're beating a ranked opponent heavily by halftime. So that is what's impressive to me. They've, as we all know, they are known as a football school, but yet recently their basketball program has very much improved with good recruiting and with good recruiting of the South. Primarily, for example, Colin Sexton.
How about a huge win for Texas there, defeating the 11th ranked Kansas team. Kansas has dropped a few games in the Big 12 now. Is this the year that Kansas finally does not win the Big 10? Texas has a chance. Iowa State's doing pretty good.
When you watch the Kansas and Kentucky game, and not one time do you look at that court and say one of those players is going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. Something is wrong with one of those teams, and primarily Kansas. They just don't seem to have the it factor this year.
Yeah, they're still a talented team, but you're right. They losing Frank Mason 2 years ago, they've definitely lost that go-to guy, and I think Kansas hasn't found that yet this year. A couple more scores. Like I said, Virginia, number 3, pulls out a close one against NC State, wins by 1. Number 1 ranked Tennessee beats South Carolina by 22. Around the Big Ten, Maryland defeats Northwestern by 18. A rebound game there for Maryland after losing to Illinois over the weekend. And finally, Nebraska down by 3 to number 24 ranked Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's heating up ever since the unfortunate loss to Michigan. The University of Michigan suffered against Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's a huge statement win for Wisconsin. They've won the last 3 games after that, absolutely handling Northwestern a few games ago at the Kohl Center at home. And Wisconsin's a team you do not want to see in March, I'll tell you that. They're fundamental. They can knock down shots. And Ethan Happ is extremely hard to guard.
There's always a room for a good fundamental team like Wisconsin to make a surprise run in the tournament. They do it every year. They seem to somehow beat one of these better teams by taking advantage of their weaknesses. That's what happened against Michigan. They took advantage of Michigan having an off night shooting and passing the ball.
Yeah. Back here in action, 7:20 left in the first half. The game is tied at 19. Michigan Wolverines on offense looking to take the first lead of the game after Muhammad and Ohio State open up the game with a 3-0 lead. Poole behind the line and knocks it down. There it is, the first lead of the night. Jordan Poole knocks down his second made 3.
There's that patented confidence we get from Jordan Poole that we were just talking about.
Exactly. Muhammad finds Yellow up top. Nice pass there by Yellow. Left-hand wraparound pass for the rolling Wesson. Ends up being fouled by Isaiah Livers down low, who was late to get to the helpline to cover the rolling Wesson. Buckeyes.
Yeah, he is a little too aggressive going to intercept it.
Yeah. With the Wolverines actually only having 2 fouls, I actually don't mind that foul. I'd rather have that than a Wesson easy dunk. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Wesson spins on Teskey. No foul called. The Ohio State bench is looking for one. From here, it looks like a foul. It looks like Teskey gets the benefit of the doubt. Wolverines in their set. Ohio State in defense. Teskey up top. Turns and finds Brooks, who's back into the game for the Wolverines. Poole gets a ball screen from Livers. Crosses back over. Nice defense there. Not allowing Poole to pull the trigger. Charles Matthews take a step back 3, and that's never going to be a good shot.
No. Just good defense from the Ohio State Buckeyes. You need to see better ball movement. It was in the hands of Charles Matthews just a little too much that drive.
Jackson brings it up. He's averaging 12.2 points per game. One of the better guards in the Big Ten Conference. Brooks on him. Ball entered to Wesson. Aaron's up top. Nice hands there by Charles Matthews, and that's another turnover for the Buckeyes. Michigan looking to extend this lead. Poole takes it all the way. He's back out to Matthews. Turns it to Livers. Picks up his dribble. And Poole's going to get a wide open 3 from the corner. No good. A good look there from Jordan Poole.
Good off Poole. That's something that he wasn't doing so much earlier this half.
Wesson absolutely demolishes Jordan Poole on a screen, but completely legal. He was set. Poole gets right back up there. And there's Aarons from missed it from the top, and here come the Wolverines. Finds Teskey. No foul. The Chrysler Center 1-on-1, but it looked like Weston was straight up there, and he'll finish. Excuse me, he'll miss the dunk. Try to dunk over Jordan Poole, and the Wolverines are going to get set up here. And what an attempt there by Weston.
I mean, right up, met him at the dunk and nailed off that dunk.
Jordan Poole gave up a good look for a better look, but Livers missed the wide open three in the corner. Michigan getting a few good looks here. They aren't able to capitalize, though. And Ohio State will call a timeout with 4:38 left. Wolverines lead it by 3.
Even if they're not hitting him right now, it's great to see the ball moving and getting open looks. If anything, that's the real problem in Michigan. They can make their threes, but the problem is getting it open. That's always been the ball movement. They're great at switching and passing in interior lanes. We want to see more open threes from this team.
Yeah, Michigan wasn't doing that earlier in the game. They're finally making tough, quick perimeter passes. And Ohio State's defense is they're a decent defensive team, but they'll get tired after 20, 25 seconds of the shot clock, and Michigan's kind of taking advantage of that as they aren't Ohio State's not finding shooters and corners after a few tough passes around the perimeter. Michigan just needs to knock down those threes. They've got a few good looks.
No, both teams having a huge offensive scoring drought. Ohio State currently is having a 5-minute scoring drought. Michigan is having a 2.5-minute shooting drought. So neither team is being able to convert on offense.
How about transition? Dunk right over Jordan Poole. Maybe a little too much for the highlight reel, as he could have had an easy finish or even gone to the line. We'll see if that costs him later in the game, though.
I mean, he was blocked. He was blocked. It looked like Jordan Poole had ball on that. So just an amazing play by Jordan Poole, and he has shown me some toughness that I didn't even think he had tonight.
Last year, he's probably is not going up for that block or maybe fouling Weston on that attempt. But like we mentioned before, he's become a much more disciplined player, especially on the defensive end. Buckeyes to inbound it. 4:30 left here in the first half. Jackson to bring it up. It's a ball screen from Yellow. Jackson drives, and a foul called on Eli Brooks. Michigan's third foul of the half. First personal for Brooks. He averages 12.6 points per game. A 79% free throw shooter. He'll make the first one.
That'll end the scoring drought right there.
Isaiah Livers checks back in for the Wolverines, as well as Andre Weston for number 10, Justin Aarons.
You know, watching Michigan get back on defense, they need to learn, at least in this game, how to get inside the paint better. They seem to be very much holding out to the wing more often than not, and Ohio State is finding easy lanes inside.
Ohio State using a lot of ball screening offense, and sometimes the Michigan's weak side defenders are not over on the help line to defend the roll. Michigan back on offense with a 1-point lead. Finds it up top, gives it to Brooks, who drives right. Matthew in the corner kick. Michigan with some great perimeter passing, but Xavier Simpson settles for a 3. Pretty contested there. You'd like to see Xavier Simpson make a few more one more rotation there and find an open Livers in the corner.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to fault him so much for missing that shot. He had a shot and he felt it. I like to see that confidence.
10 in the shot clock. Calls for a ball screen for Weston. Goes left. Gets the switch he wants. Livers guarding him. Jackson goes left and is fouled and one there. Nice move by C.J. Jackson. Crosses up Isaiah Livers and will go to the line for a 3-point play.
It's unfortunate to see that happen. Michigan has not looked like the best team out there today. Ohio State seems to have come out much quicker, much faster, and much more explosive on both sides of the ball. Michigan's still trying to find themselves out there, and they look a little dazed and confused.
Yeah, Michigan had a stretch there in the first half around the 10-minute mark where they were turning defense and offense, but Ohio State bounces back and regains the lead, 23-22. as we enter the fourth and final media timeout. This is WCBN FM 88.3 Ann Arbor, a proud presentation of WCBN Sports. Number 5, Michigan versus Ohio State in Big Ten Conference play. As a PSA, I remind you to stay warm tonight and these next few days and keep domestic animals inside as the cold weather hits. Class canceled this Wednesday and Thursday for the University of Michigan students, but radio keeps on going on. WCBN will be on Wednesday, Thursday. So if you're inside finding yourself doing nothing, turn on 88.3 Ann Arbor. We'll be running these next few days.
That's some good advice there, Jack. I have my little dog at home, Snuffles. I want him to be safe and sound. Make sure he's not sick. Make sure he's not freezing. I want that dog with all the comfort in the world. You know, watching this game, what I have noticed a lot is that Michigan seems to have a problem in transition right now. And maybe it's just good transition defense that Ohio State picked up. But Michigan has seemed to just had freak accidents on finishing on wide open transition field goals, like that Livers miss up on 3-point line, that Poole miss. Teskey had a miss that was kind of covered. You need to convert these easy layups. There are probably 10 or 12 points we left out there because we could not convert in transition.
Or at least draw fouls. You know,
yeah.
Ohio State had 6 fouls actually pretty early in the first half, and they haven't committed one since, I believe, the 8 or 9 minute mark. So you like to see Michigan kind of take it. You like to see Michigan kind of take it to Ohio State a little more to end this first half. And, you know, Wesson for Ohio State, it kind of has dealt with foul trouble all year. And he's going to leave this first half with only 2 fouls if nothing changes here in the last 3 minutes and 28 seconds. And Wesson is a huge part of their team. Caleb Wesson averages 14.9 points per game, and he's a reason why a lot of these Ohio State players are shooting so well from beyond the line this year, is because he kind of sucks in a lot of defenders, allowing for easy kicks and shots from the perimeter for Ohio State. But Michigan doing a pretty good job on Wesson today. He only has, 3 points.
The Michigan defense has been pretty astounding today. They've been getting a great amount of turnovers and not letting people get the easy shots outside. Problem is they're not converting on these turnovers, and they're letting people come inside with good passing lanes.
Correction, Caleb Wesson has 9 points. I was looking at his brother, Andre Wesson, who has 3 points. Bill, Ohio, recruited by Chris Holtman. CJ Jackson makes the and 1 shot. Ohio, they like to go in a man-to-man defense as Xavier Simpson gets the Wolverines back into their set. Teskey turns to Brazdeikis, looks for a cutting Matthews. Poole then follows with a cut. And he comes up top. And that's Matthews with the kick from Simpson and a wide-open 3. And there it goes. Charles Matthews, the much-improved 3-point shooter, knocks one down.
Great ball movement from Charles Matthews and great off-ball movement from Charles Matthews. You like to see a good dialed-up play out there, giving Charles Matthews an open look that we know he can hit.
That all starts from that Simpson, who gets another assist there on the Charles Matthews make. Jackson finds Wesson up top. That's Muhammad working on Brazdeikis, who draws a foul. That's Musa Jallo. Brazdeikis' first personal foul. 5th foul for the Wolverines. 2 more. Neither team is in the bonus right now with 2 minutes and 34 seconds remaining here in the first. Buckeyes to inbound on the baseline. Woods drives to right and finishes. It's actually C.J. Jackson. C.J. Jackson having a nice game today. That's his 9th point. He's 3 for 3 from the field and 3 for 3 from the line. Good contested layup. There's just nothing you can do about that if it goes in. Simpson drives right on Muhammad and finishes with the right hand. And he gets his 4th, bringing Michigan back up by 1 with 2 minutes left here in the first half. Jackson finds Wesson. Simpson cuts the corner, though. There's Muhammad. Kicks it back to Wesson for three. Contested. Air ball three. Nice defense by the Wolverines, and here they come in transition. Brazdeikis, wide open three. And there it is. Ignas Brazdeikis signals to the crowd. And there it is. 4-point lead for the Wolverines. Biggest lead of the night. Minute 33 left here to go in the first. A big opportunity to get a stop and a score for the Wolverines to make this a 5 or 6 point game going into half.
This is the remedy we needed on offense. We needed good 3-point shooting. You see Matthews and you see Brazdeikis make it back-to-back. That's going to light up our offense toward the end of the half.
Team Jackson, but it is entered to Wesson, but a nice steal there from Matthews. Minute left here. Wolverines looking for a good shot here, possibly their last possession. Wolverines finds a wide open Simpson, misses a three from a corner, and not a bad luck there. Simpson, an improved 3-point shooter. He'll go on stretches, hitting 5 in a row in a Big Ten game a few games ago, but he'll go on stretches, will miss a few. And Jordan Poole with the nice hands causes a steal, and Matthews in transition misses the initial layup and finds himself with the offensive rebound, and he'll bring the Wolverines to a 6-point lead. The Crescent Center on their feet. Shot clock turned off, 20 seconds left. C.J. Jackson up top. A big chance for a stop here and to enter the half up 6. Jackson on the wing. Charles Matthews out on perimeter defense. Teskey switches on to Muhammad. Great defense there. 1 second left. A half-court heat by Muhammad and no good. And the Wolverines enter the first half up 6 points, and they were losing by as much as 5 points. Nice turnaround there for the Wolverines to end the half.
That's how you want to see a team that didn't start off the way you want to see. They got hot at the end, shooting a bunch of threes and making a bunch of threes and getting open threes. That's what you like to see out of Michigan.
The Ohio State Buckeyes actually out-rebounded Michigan 17-11. But for 11 times, and Michigan only turned the ball over 2 times. A classic John Beilein game. Any other thoughts going into the second half? What does Michigan need to do to keep this lead? What are they doing well? What are they not doing well?
Well, what they're doing well is playing good defense, and they're passing very well. The problem that you see is that they have 11 steals, yet they are only up 6. They are only up 6 points. That's a problem. That means they're not converting in transition. That should be 22 points roughly that you have right there off 11 steals, and I know Michigan has scored more than 22 points just in general. So I would like to see Michigan be able to score in transition better. And I would like to see Michigan better defend the inside pass.
You saw Caleb West, Michigan being a little lazy on the interior defense. Weston has 9. He actually finished the half on the bench because of foul trouble, which has been a common problem for them this year. But Michigan, if they can hold Caleb Weston, Ohio State's best player, to less than 10 points in the second half, I think they'll have this game in the bag. But you never know, because Ohio State can also shoot the 3-point ball. But Michigan doing a pretty good job of defending that. Ohio State only shooting 33.3 from beyond the 3-point stripe.
Yeah, out there, and they're playing probably better basketball until the end of the half. So you need to come out in the second half and be much more aggressive on offense and be much more well-suited to well-suited to what the Ohio State is throwing at you. Ohio State is demanding the flow of the game. Michigan needs to be better at that.
Yeah, and you saw Michigan kind of control the flow in a few minutes when they used the transition offense, and that was only a few possessions. So you like to see, a big for Michigan to grab the rebound and outlet directly right to Xavier Simpson and push the ball. Because when that was happening, Michigan was scoring or getting to the line. But whenever Michigan kind of got into their set, they seemed a little lost, and they kind of took a few ill-advised shots against that zone defense of Ohio State. They also hit some threes against the zone defense for Ohio State. But you like to see Michigan kind of take it to Ohio State, especially in transition, to start off the second half. And, this could just be me, but the first few minutes of the second half were some of the most important minutes of the game. That sets the tone for the entire second half. If Michigan can go off on a 6 or 7 point run to start the second half, that makes it a 10-point game. That's hard to come back from. I mean, you see it all the time, but Michigan needs to set the tone in the second half by taking it to Ohio State.
It's much like Pitino used to say. You can lose the game in the first half, but you cannot. You can lose the game in the first half. So use what you have and be creative. Because coming out in the second half, we need to see different looks from both teams. Most especially Michigan needs to be faster pace on offense. They are taking too many contested threes, making a bunch of them somehow, yet they are not making clear shots.
Yeah. It's just a test. I think it's just a testament to how good Michigan's defense is. A game like this where Michigan's offense is struggling, they're still winning the game. That's what's kept Michigan in so many games this year. When the offense is struggling and you're only shooting in this game 35.7% from three, the defense keeps you in the game. That's why they're top 5 in KenPom in defensive efficiency.
Yeah. Most importantly, they just need to learn. Michigan needs to understand that their strength is to let the other team mess up. Michigan John Beeling has made a career of not letting turnovers happen and shooting the 3-ball. So if they do that, they just let the other team mess up their game plan and make mistakes, and which has happened throughout most of the game. It's 11 steals they've had.
Yeah. Yet
they have not been unable to convert on these turnovers. That's been what's the big Achilles heel right now in this whole game for Michigan.
That's a good point. They have 11 steals, but I believe they only have 4 points to capitalize off those 11 steals. And Michigan usually does a pretty good job of.
That's roughly a 2 and 11 percentile of how they're converting. That's not good if you're a Michigan Wolverine fan.
The second half will be Daniel Thompson and Nate Sorensen. Once we hit the 8-minute mark in the halftime show, it is MOTOWN tonight, the theme for this Tuesday night game against Ohio State Buckeyes. Once again, this is WCBN FM 88.3 Ann Arbor for a station identification. This is a proud presentation of WCBN Sports. We thank you for listening, but we got a second half coming up in a few minutes, or actually 10 minutes here. Look at the scores around the nation in college basketball again. Like I said, Tennessee, the number 1 ranked team in the country, with another win against a SEC rival, South Carolina. They had a nice win against Vanderbilt over the weekend, who gave them a test. Vanderbilt always seems to give tough tests to high-ranking teams out in Nashville, Tennessee. Texas beats the 11th ranked Kansas. Kansas now dropped 2 in a row. Bill Self cannot be happy with that team. And Texas, that's a statement win. That's a resume win for March.
Yeah. Looking at the other score, I see Virginia barely edged out North Carolina State. That's a huge development in the college football world, because many have said Virginia should be maybe the number 1 team in the nation. And the only thing holding it back is that they never had really close games. Well, they just had a close game with a ranked opponent. So it doesn't look great for North Carolina State. It doesn't look great for Virginia to be doing so poorly against a bottom of the top 25 team.
Yeah, Virginia is so good defensively, and they seem to have the regular season down to a science. But when that offense shuts down, that kind of affects the defense. And we saw that last year, obviously, in the tournament, as they were upset by number 16 UMBC, the Retrievers. But Virginia, they'll end up giving Duke and those other ACC teams like UNC a run for their money in the ACC. They always seem to make it out of the regular season kind of unscathed. Obviously, they lost a close one in Durham a few weeks ago to Duke, but Tony Bennett will have that team ready to go in March. I guarantee it. They're going to be due to win one of these years, just like Villanova. You can't be in the championship of the ACC that many years in a row without doing well in March. So Maryland beat Northwestern by 18 points. Maryland obviously losing a tough one to Illinois on the road, but that's a very good team. Coach Turgeon doing a really good job with Maryland, and obviously UNC beating Georgia Tech. UNC, they lost a few games early season, obviously here in Ann Arbor. They lost by 20 at home to, I believe, Louisville. But they've been turning around. Roy Williams doing a really good job with that Tar Heel team. Luke May, one of the best players in the nation, in my opinion. He's quiet, but he gets the job done. And looking forward, UNC does travel to Duke on February 20th. That'll be number 9 versus number 2 if the rankings stay the same. But that's going to be a good game. 2 of the best in the ACC. That's always my favorite game to watch in college basketball, and it should be for everyone. What a rivalry.
Very much so. We're also looking at they play Virginia Tech a week. They play Virginia a week later, which is again a 3 and a 9 match if you consider if the rankings do stay the same.
7 minutes left here in halftime, and I believe we'll switch over to our second half crew, Daniel Thompson and Nate Sorensen. This is WCBN Sports. For Andrew Miller, I am Jack Molino. We thank you for listening. We thank you, Max Cohen, for being in studio, putting our broadcast on FM waves, 88.3 Ann Arbor. For second half coverage, stay tuned for Daniel Thompson and Nate Sorensen. They'll take it away from here. Thank you for listening. We'll leave you with a good night and go blue. And second half coming up in 7 minutes.
Welcome, or should I say, welcome us, Daniel Thompson, joined alongside by Nate Sorensen to the second half of our coverage here of Michigan basketball. Whether you are listening on air here in Southeast Michigan over 88.3 FM Ann Arbor or through our YouTube, youtube.com/WCBN Sports. It's been a big night here in Ann Arbor. It's MOTOWN night, and it's also freezing cold outside as the ABC plays over the speakers here in the Chrysler Center. They just announced right before the game that for only the third time in 40 years, Michigan is closing classes. It is going to be freezing cold, and the wind chill is going to be below 30 over Wednesday and Thursday. According to the National Meteorology Association, that is frostbite territory in just 5 minutes of being outside. So we encourage you to stay inside as much as possible if you are listening if you're listening over the air in our FM broadcasting range, because it's certainly going to be chilly. Also, don't forget, if you have any pets that you usually keep outside, get them inside as much as possible tonight.
Absolutely. No taking any chances with this kind of weather. I know a lot of people have been making jokes. Lots of memes have been on the internet about the cold weather, about Schlissel maybe wanting the entire student body to be physically harmed if he did not cancel class. Well, class is canceled, and for good reason. Everyone, please stay inside, stay warm, stay safe.
Classes across Big Ten country have been canceled. Michigan State shutting down their doors. Minnesota as well. It's chilly outside, so be safe.
Northwestern for sure. The temperatures in Chicago are going to be downright. I don't even know what you can compare those to. I think it's worse than the Arctic in Chicago now.
I heard from an inside source at the University of Minnesota, it's minus 50 over there with wind chill. So really, across the Midwest, some brutal temperatures, wonderful basketball. The Big Ten, the best conference in basketball this year. ACC is a bit top-heavy, but nowhere will it be as deep as the Big Ten. And, as our own Jack Molino was just saying, historically, pretty undebatably the best rivalry in college basketball, maybe college sports, UNC Duke. But right now, John Beilein contends, and he's absolutely correct, that Michigan State is the best rivalry in college basketball, at least as good as UNC versus Duke.
Oh, no doubt. And I would say, to your point about the Big Ten being so strong, there's no better example than here tonight. This game here for the Wolverines is the easiest one left on the regular season schedule. I would say quite easily. And guess what? You're playing a team that what is Ohio State's record?
I want to say 13-6.
Yeah, 13-6 there. They just snapped, and that's because they went on a 5-game losing streak. They just snapped that against a good Nebraska team. They still have a very good chance of making the NCAA tournament as well. That's just how tough the Big Ten is. There really are no bottom feeders.
Absolutely. We saw Ohio State and Indiana go simultaneously on 5-game skids, yet most bracketologists kept them in their fields. It's really been a truly difficult conference. Ohio State just finally got off the schneid by getting a win in Lincoln. PBA, a very difficult place to win. However, Nebraska senior Isaac Copeland tore his ACL in that one, and Ohio State kind of ran away with the game after that, and that has really hurt Nebraska's odds. Most bracketologists have them in as of right now, but they just took a loss at home yet again to Wisconsin. Have lost 3 straight now at Pinnacle Bank, and they are really on a slide. Not a great look for the Huskers. They have been maybe the first real corner of this Big Ten, of the super strong Big Ten, to fall. their season is just falling apart as they have now lost 5 of the last 7. They're 2-6 in January. However, 2 really strong Big Ten teams tonight. Ohio State was ranked as high as 12th back when they were a 1-loss team before losing an overtime heartbreaker to Michigan State.
Yeah,
and in the Big Ten, that is big. Michigan is now back on top of the Big Ten, tied for first with Michigan State after they lost in West Lafayette on Sunday. So just another opportunity for the Wolverines to move up in the Big Ten standings. They will be in first, at least momentarily, sole possession with the win tonight, if they can hold on to a 6-point lead.
Yeah, well, the way first half, they certainly look poised to do so, but you gotta wonder what's going to happen here now that Wesson is going to be able to come back in the game. I should specify which Wesson I'm talking about. I mean Caleb, the younger brother here, the big man, the 6'9" sophomore. I don't know if 6'9" seems like an understatement. That's what it says on the roster. He looks all of 6'9" here in person.
It could be 6'9" tall and 6'9" wide. I mean, the matchup with John Teskey, I mean, John Teskey technically has an inch or two on him in height.
Yes.
If you go by the book, it's a bit more than 2 inches. But Wesson is clearly heavier than Teskey. I mean, he is just so broad. It's like trying to defend a mountain when he goes to the rim.
Certainly, and that was part of the Wolverines' problem there in that first half. Wesson ended up 4 rebounds and only 13 minutes of action there in the first half, and he was just really dominant inside the paint. And that problem for him, though, it's been a problem for this entire Ohio State team, is staying out of foul trouble. And, well, Wesson managed to do pretty well there in the first half, managed to pick up a ticky-tack foul that got him sent to the bench with only 13 minutes of action played, and then that's kind of when the wheels fell off for this Ohio State team. They had the lead before he went out of the game, and he was really the focal point of this offense. Well, without him on the court, Ohio State's offense really faltered, and they just really got stuck turning the ball over nearly every time down the floor to this terrific Michigan defense. And, well, I don't know if his presence on the court is going to change that tide, but Buck hope it will.
It was a hot start for the Buckeyes. I believe both teams' largest lead is 6. 12-6 the Buckeyes came out to, but then went on a long scoring drought, a bit over 5 minutes getting back on the board as the Wolverines cut the deficit and ended up taking a 6-point lead of their own going into the half. The 3-ball came alive for the Wolverines there at the end of the half. Poole is only 2 for 7. Ended up having had one possession where he shot 3 3-pointers, finally making the third and final attempt. And he's still been a bit slow to get back into these games. Has been held to 10 points across the past 2 games. Very unlike himself as a prolific scorer, who at some points in this year has been mocked as a first-round pick in the NBA draft should he declare. Still has 2 more years of eligibility after this one. But he's up to 8. He is Michigan's leading scorer. Brosdakis and Matthews close in pursuit at 7 apiece. And John Teskey really has been the week so far. 1 for 4 from the field. And a lot of those misses have been 0-footers.
Yeah, he's gotten stuck right underneath the basket one time. He just kind of had no position, still tried to force it up. But they haven't all been tough. He's had easy looks at the basket, just can't get him to go. And you can tell maybe there's a little bit of Wesson's presence there in the paint giving him pause, but we need him to be physical, or Michigan fans, I should say, need him to be physical going to the basket because Wesson is prone to picking up fouls, and if Michigan can force him to sit extended minutes here, they're in very good position to win this game.
And Nate, what do you think was the part of the game that Michigan could have done better in to help their offense here in the second half that they struggled with in the first?
Well, say it's just hitting open shots. They were getting plenty of open looks, just not getting them to go. I would say Jordan Poole looked a lot in that first half. If he keeps hitting shots, I think they're going to be just fine.
Xavier Simpson inbounds the ball to get the second half underway. Michigan passes around the perimeter for a while. Brosdakis attempts to drive to the rim, but that play is blown dead on the court. A foul on Brosdakis. It is a Wesson that it's called. An Andre it is. Not charged with the foul. Not younger brother Caleb. So Michigan bound the ball from beneath the basket finds Jordan Poole, who immediately fires rim. No good. That one is rebounded by the Buckeyes. C.J. Jackson with the ball now, leading the Ohio State offense. Immediately ball's stolen by Jordan Poole, picking off the pass, goes right to the rim, makes an elaborate move, and cannot finish. He had two teammates there in help. An errant pass is almost corralled by Ignas Brazdeikis, and the officials sort out where the ball will go to the Wolverines, and only 37 seconds have been played so far here in the first half, and a lot has happened without any scoring.
Yeah, and that's another big problem for this Buckeye team, turnovers, and playing against such a aggressive defense like Michigan. It's going to these turnovers, I gotta imagine they've already got 13 so far, not looking good here.
Simpson goes to the rim, but the ball is sent to the moon by Caleb Wesson. He will look to inbound it again. This is exactly where he passed to Jordan Poole not 20 seconds ago. This time the ball goes to Teskey, who gives it right back to Simpson. Simpson taking his time now to run the offense. Still 11 to go on the shot clock. Simpson still with the ball and miscommunicates with teammate Charles Matthews and sends that one right out of bounds. Did go off a Buckeye, though. Looks like C.J. Jackson got his hand on it. So it will remain Michigan basketball. Only 7 to go on the shot clock. 1 minute exactly has passed so far in the first half. And the Buckeyes blow a great defensive opportunity right there. Commit a foul on the floor right there. Seconds on the shot clock. They really had Michigan kind of painted into a corner right there with only 7 on the shot clock.
Yeah, and time was ticking there before a 5-second call. And Xavier Simpson really looked relieved to hear the whistle be blown.
Certainly did. Now he finds teammate Jordan Poole. And it was on his knees for a second there, was too low to get the pass from Jordan Poole. So that will be another Michigan turnover. A lot from both teams in this game. Teskey and Wesson getting physical down below, and Teskey is assessed with a foul. That will be his first of the night, and a night that really has not been his best. Struck he did in his first 2 years here in Ann Arbor. Has been a Wolverines on offense so far in 2019. As Ohio State finds a man right beneath the basket, but he cannot finish. Muhammad could not seal the deal, and Charles Matthews comes up with the rebound. Now Simpson trying to reverse. And Poole loses his handle. They're not going to rule an over and back, though, because the ball was tipped by the Buckeyes. Brazdeikis, though, with miscommunication, and this has been some exceptionally sloppy basketball from the Wolverines.
Yeah, very fortunate there that Michigan didn't get called for the backcourt violation there originally. I thought the ball went off Jordan Poole's foot. Ends up not mattering there. Sloppy pass.
Ohio, their offense, haven't had too many opportunities so far in this first half. Open look, hesitate, get it down low to Wesson, guarded fiercely by Teskey, and the fans want to walk. Doesn't matter. Wesson misses the shot, and it is corralled by Xavier Simpson, who decides to slow things down, and his pass is deflected by C.J. Jackson and goes over the backboard. Had he connected on that pass, John Teskey would have been able to slam that one home. Instead, Michigan will inbound it once again, and this is now the 4th time in this half that Xavier Simpson is ready to inbound a ball from the baseline. No looks open. They find Matthews right beneath the basket. Precision pass, but he is stripped down low by C.J. Jackson. And neither team has really even gotten a shot off this half. 2:20 down already. C.J. Jackson with the ball, double teamed. Caleb Wesson fires, and he hooks up from beyond the arc. 29-32. Buckeyes trail by 3. First points of the second half. Poole with the Brazdeikis. Mishandled by Matthews, but he gets it back, and Brazdeikis is right under the rim for the easiest basket he'll get all night. 34-29. Wolverine lead back up to 5.
And that's just beautiful half-court offense by the Wolverines. Ohio State not switching any screens, so they're running tons of off-ball action, trying to get people caught.
And we have an offensive foul now against Muhammad. The ball will stay with the Wolverines.
Yeah, caught him extending that off arm. They're going to call that one every time, especially when you push your defender back that far.
And it certainly helps when Jordan Poole goes right to the floor after that. From my angle, it looked like he embellished it, but on the big screen replay right there, I think he really did just get pushed over.
Yeah, he got a pretty solid elbow right in the chest there.
So Great call there from the officials. Wolverines now take possession, up 5. Jordan Poole with the ball, trying to find space, but he's triple teamed, finds an open Simpson, who gives it back to Matthews, to Brozdakis. Matthews now hesitating. Students count down the shot clock to 6, to 5, and a fadeaway shot that was never going to have any hope, and it was tipped by the elder Wesson right there. Andre getting involved in on defense. C.J. Jackson now with the ball. Wesson to Stabber Jackson, who nearly throws, and he did in fact throw that ball out of bounds, but it was tipped by Charles Matthews, so it will stay with the Buckeyes. Very frustrating first half for both second half rather for both offenses. As we approach the under 16 timeout, only 2 buckets apiece. 1 bucket apiece, 2 total. C.J. Jackson with the ball, driving to the rim, but forced out by Simpson. Finds Wesson, and now back to Washington, who puts one off the rim and was rebounded by Xavier Simpson with a 40-yard pass to Jordan Poole, who puts it in. Xavier Simpson playing quarterback right there, finds Jordan Poole in motion for the easy lay-in, and Michigan gets its largest lead of the night. They are up 36-29.
Absolutely sensational pass right there. Looks like a quarterback.
Caleb Wesson makes a great move to get off John Teskey, but cannot finish the easy 2-footer. And now the Wolverines have the ball back with their largest lead of the day. Simpson going to the court, and I thought that one was in. Kissed the inside of the rim, but rolled out. And the ball is easily rebounded, uncontested by Caleb Wesson, who gives it to C.J. Jackson, feeds it back to Wesson. And now the ball is with Washington, who cannot find any penetration. Ball now to Andre Wesson, guarded closely by Brozdakis. Too strong on the mid-range shot. Now to Brozdakis in transition. Foul looks like it'll be against Brozdakis. So with a charging foul, and the ball is going right back to the Buckeyes. 15-15 to go in this second half, and we have 7 total points.
Yeah, just such sloppy basketball on both ends of the floor here. Get this, Michigan only had 2 turnovers that entire first half. So far here in the first 5 minutes of this one, they have 3. Just not characteristic basketball by a John Beilein-led Michigan basketball team. And it's the reason why Michigan's just not able to extend this lead. They've come out, they've played terrific defense. They've been pressuring Ohio State, forcing errant passes left and right. They just can't capitalize. So far, I believe Michigan has forced, 14 turnovers, but only 8 points off of those. That's just not a recipe for winning basketball. You've got to take those opportunities, convert those into points, and that's been a problem for this Michigan basketball team so far this season. They need more guys willing to push the pace, get to the basket in those situations. So far, just have not been able to capitalize. That's been the story of this game.
Really, Michigan, with a bit cleaner offensive play, could be leading by, who knows, 17-27 right now. They left a lot of points on the board in transition. Could have scored a lot more. However, they do have a 7-point lead home against a hated rival in the Ohio State Buckeyes. So they'll take what they have in control of this one, but it will be Buckeye ball. No one really in foul trouble at this time. Ignas Brozdakis with 2 fouls. And the younger Weston, Andre, with 2 as well. So that favors the Buckeyes right now. But with only 15 minutes to go, no player with more than 2. I don't think foul trouble will be a big equation in this one.
Yeah, and I don't know how exactly it worked out this well for Ohio State, but second-year head coach replacing the is it fair to call him the legendary Thad Matta?
I'd have to say so. Those Aaron Kraft days sure were something.
Yeah, well, second-year head coach Chris Holtman was so frustrated by the amount of calls Caleb Wesson was getting that he actually called the Big Ten offices to plead for lighter officiating against his star big man. And, well, so far, so good. I think it was about 2 games ago. I think he stayed out of foul trouble against both Purdue and Nebraska Now, only one foul here against the Wolverines. I can't believe that it works that well. All you have to do is call the office, say, hey, quit calling fouls on my guys. That's
a sentiment that is popular here in Southeast Michigan that maybe the Big Ten officiating listens to the Buckeye perspective more than any others. But the officials call him as they see him, and so far Caleb Weston has stayed out of foul trouble. Older brother Andre has left the court, so now Andre stays on the court. Caleb leaves the court, interestingly. Only one foul on the prolific Ohio State big man. Certainly his benching right now has nothing to do with fouls. They must just be getting him some rest as we finally exit the timeout and the Buckeyes bring the ball up the court. Washington in possession, drives to the rim, and Poole's last-second attempt to swat it did not work. So the Buckeyes, that's 31. Wolverines lead as Xavier Simpson brings the ball up the court. Livers now where to go. Back to Simpson now, who finds Livers in the corner, and Livers connects. He was an offensive liability in Bloomington on Friday. He's now 2 for 3 from beyond the arc, putting some important points on the board as the Wolverines now lead by 8.
That last defensive possession, you see the pitfalls of having Livers at the 5. Ohio State got an easy basket at the rim. Well, Livers comes right back down, shows you why he's in the game, hitting that 3.
And a light foul. Poole extended the elbows too much, it would look like. That's only his first of the game, though, so John B. with it. Just a little bit of a bump on Washington. I don't really know if that justified a foul, but they found it.
Yeah, as reluctant as these refs have been to call a foul, I'm surprised that one was
And
called.
After a near rebound by Ignis Brazdeikis, bodies hit the floor, jump ball called, and Ohio State will take possession. So 14-10 to go in this one. Michigan will have the possession arrow should it come in handy. Great selfless sacrifice right there, but I couldn't catch which Buckeye. I think Jallo was the one who just put his body on the court. That had to have hurt, but he got the ball. Andre Weston tiptoeing to stay inbound and catch the rebound and catch the inbound pass. Ball now played up to Woods. Fiercely guarded by Matthews. He gets a hand up, but it doesn't matter. Great fadeaway shot. And Keyshawn Woods brings it back to a 6-point deficit for his Buckeyes.
Now Ohio State in their full court 2-2-1 press. I'd imagine they're going to fall back into that 2-3 zone. Time for Michigan shooters to show up.
And Jordan Poole right there hesitated, almost took the shot. Instead, Xavier Simpson cannot quite connect, hits the inside of the rim, but gets his own rebound, and they call a tie-up. The fans wanted a foul. But so back-to-back possessions where they got to go to the possession arrow. Rarely do you see that in college basketball beside the final minute of the game.
Yeah, and that right there was just incredible effort by Xavier Simpson. And that's a problem with the 2-3 zone. It's tough to know where your man is to box out. Leads to plenty of offensive rebounds. Great work by Xavier to identify that and go in there, get the ball.
Jordan gives it back to Xavier Simpson. Waits and decides to attack. Makes an athletic move to stay along the baseline and puts it in. Xavier Simpson, now with his third layup of the game, has 6 on the night and extends the Wolverine lead back to 8. Keyshawn Woods now with fiercely by Charles Matthews. Passes it to Jackson with Livers riding him. Poole now in defense charge every single day. Andre Wesson pushed Jordan Poole right to the ground. Poole gets up and tries to pump the crowd up, waving toward the student section and the fans here in Ann Arbor, and he has succeeded as the crowd rises to their feet. Wolverine ball up 8.
Yeah, and that was a bit of a sell job. Took that hit, fell directly to the ground, but the Wesson there put the shoulder down. That's just something you can't do. I'd call that more of an embellishment than a flop.
I would agree, and I nominated him for an Academy Award for that. We apologize for any chance it might be picking up from the fans here, but Academy Award for that because that was mostly just reacting, not acting. But Jordan Poole now twice in this half goes to the floor and earns an offensive foul for the Buckeyes. Poole now with an open look and connects. And Chrysler is rocking right now here on Motown Night. Jordan Poole has torn the roof off the stadium. Wolverines now lead the Buckeyes 44-33 as the decibel meter goes up. They're cracking 100 right now. Livers leaves Washington wide open, and he silences the crowd. You can hear a pin drop now. 10 seconds ago, I could not hear myself speak. Just a total lapse there by the Michigan defense that we have not seen once yet this half. Washington wide open and buries that. They're going to call it a two-pointer, but 44-36 nonetheless.
And I'm surprised they're not even going to at least go over to the monitors to check it while they have a chance. Because it looked like he was clearly behind the three-point line to me. But one thing to note, Caleb Wesson did just run over to the scores table, checked himself back into this ball game, and there he goes. John Teskey goes over to check in himself. The chess match going here between Beeline and Holtman.
So we've got right now at 12-18. There will be a. Is this the under 16 timeout?
Gosh, with 12-18 to go, there has not been any dead balls. Yeah, 16.
Wow. So we're 8. You could potentially here in 19 seconds have another TV timeout. That's why you listen to WCBN. Don't have to worry about it. So, as our own Jack Molino corrects us right now, there cannot be another TV timeout within 30 seconds of a prior one. So, fans watching TV at home, you're lucky that you got at least 30 seconds of basketball ahead of you.
One whole shot clock's worth.
After nearly 8 unabbreviated minutes. That's just been the beauty of this game. It's been quite sloppy, but it's continuous. It's like watching a soccer game almost. Just never a break in the action.
Absolutely not. And now, with the addition of the game, I'm not sure if Ohio State's going to stick with that 2-3 zone, but Jordan Poole, how about that shot there to make Ohio State pay for switching over to the zone? He's had a pretty frustrating only 5 of 13 from the field, 3 of 9 from behind the arc, but he showed up here when the Wolverines have needed him the most, hit that 3, took the charge to set it up. That's what you got to love about Jordan Poole. A very willing shooter, a guy who has take his foot off the gas pedal, no matter how his night's going. Just keeps but kind of like the Kobe Bryant mentality. He's never going to take himself out of the game, that's for sure.
Is Mamba mentality trademark? Can we say that on air?
I didn't know. I wasn't sure. I was playing it safe.
Well, my apologies if I have earned us a lawsuit.
You're going to be hearing from Kobe Bryant's lawyers. That's
either way. Poole has displayed that patented Kobe Bryant mentality. He is 3 for 9 from the from 3-point range, 5 for 13 from the floor overall. Good for 13 points on the night. Leads all scorers. Caleb Wesson 1 point behind him with 12. Another guy who's stuffing the stat sheet, Xavier Simpson, is on triple-double watch right now. 9 assists. He'll surely get another. He's at 6 rebounds and 6 points. If you can get 4 more in each, he'll have a triple-double. Pretty hard to do in college basketball. I don't think another Wolverine has done that so far this season.
No, I can't imagine. Anyone other than Xavier could do it.
No,
it's tough to get those 10 assists.
And rebounds as well, especially for him. Xavier Simpson is listed as 6 foot. In reality, probably shorter, as Jordan Poole mishandles a pass from Xavier Simpson, but corrals it in time. Poole and Teskey play hot potato before Poole is picked off by Muhammad, who gets it back to Washington, who made his last attempt. That one is no good, but rebounded by the Buckeyes. Back to C.J. Jackson, who steps back, fires from beyond the arc, cannot connect, though, and John Teskey gets the rebound, his 5th of the night.
And an excellent box out there by John Teskey. That's what you got to do against a guy of Caleb Wesson's stature. You got to put your butt into him. Let him know you're there.
And that's really one of the few times John Teskey has won his matchup with Caleb Wesson tonight. Brozdakis from the corner is good. That one rattles home, and it extends the Wolverine lead to 11, 47-36. Wolverines are up. C.J. Jackson now with the ball, trying to will his Buckeyes back into this one. Jallo with Jackson. No penetration at all from the Buckeyes so far, playing around the perimeter. Washington, a contested three. Another rebound from Xavier Simpson, his 7th of the game. Triple-double watch. Looking good right now. Simpson now slows things down here as we approach the 10-minute mark. Driving to the basket. The ball is stripped, but he comes back up with it. Finds an open Livers, who that ball rolls around the rim before flying out. Would have been his 3rd made 3-point field goal of the night. Instead, Wesson considers, sees Teskey, and passes it to Washington instead. Back to a wide open Jallo, who misses a great look. And Xavier Simpson, does he get credited with the rebound there? He's fouled by Wesson while he's going to the ground.
I'd imagine. Yeah, that's a personal foul, not a loose ball foul. So that's going to be...
They do give him the rebound, so that's very important for the stat sheet. Also gives Caleb Wesson his 2nd. So the pleas to the Big Ten office don't come in handy right there. And I honestly would not be surprised if you told me Wesson is 2 times Simpson's weight. I mean, honestly, that
we've got the rosters here. We can check.
That's a dangerous foul for him to be pushing Simpson like that. I mean,
yeah, that's it's a bit of a size disparity. It's for certain. But yeah, gotta love the tenacity of Xavier Simpson going up where he knows Caleb Wesson is, ripping the rebound away from him, and that may have been a Xavier Simpson, but very fortunate for the Wolverines that the missed that 3-pointer. That's been 3 possessions in a row. Ohio State's gotten good open looks from beyond the arc. They just are not getting them to go. If they can just get them to fall, they would be looking like, or they'd be in pretty good shape here. And that's something this Ohio State team can do. They're one of the best teams in the Big Ten in 3-point shooting. They have, can shoot pretty well. Washington shooting 34%. Andre Wesson shooting 36%. Muhammad shooting 43%. Jackson 39%. Those are pretty impressive shooting numbers from beyond the arc. As a team, there, and even Caleb Wesson contribute. I guess I can't think. I was going to say he's not like John Teskey, but John Teskey can shoot with the best of them. So I don't know what non-shooting bigs are there even left in basketball. Maybe there aren't any.
No, it's really a new era now. John Teskey really coming into that Mo Wagner role of the shooting big. Not too many guys left who really don't have any confidence from beyond the arc. In the meantime, though, Michigan is well on their way to holding a tournament team to under 50 points here at home. A great performance so far from their defense that is ranked number 1 in KenPom in defensive efficiency. For the 5th time all year, they held an opponent under 50 in Bloomington on Friday. And they're on pace right now to hold the Buckeyes to under 50, who are right on pace for about 48. And coincidentally, the Wolverines are at 47 right now. They're not going to need too many more buckets to win this one. It's looking pretty good here against the team that will in all likelihood be playing in March.
Yeah. I did find finally confirmation, or I guess I can't say it's confirmed because I don't trust these roster numbers all that much, but Xavier Simpson listed at 6 foot, 190 pounds.
And I would not be surprised if both of those numbers were beefed up a little bit.
Yeah, it goes both ways. Normally a smaller guy is given a little bit more beefed up numbers, and bigger guys are given a little bit smaller numbers. And Caleb Wesson is listed at 6'9", 270. 270 seems light.
Sure does, but
I'm going to say that's a 100-pound difference, just based on the eyeball test.
Simpson now with patented skyhook, does not connect, and Wesson gets the rebound. Passes it up to C.J. Jackson. The Maze Rage on their feet right now as the student section is showed out despite the freezing temperatures. Andre Wesson now with the ball. Passes out to Keyshawn Woods. And back down low to Caleb Wesson, guarded tightly by John Teskey. Wesson cannot find anywhere. 4 on the shot clock. Jackson has to lob one up, but gets his own rebound And that one, for a second, rolled around the rim, but that one fell in. 38-47, Wolverines lead.
And I'm surprised the refs didn't get Caleb Wesson for a 3-second violation there. He was standing inside the paint trying to figure out what to do with the ball for quite a long time.
Pulls up and does not connect from beyond the arc. Wesson is wide open and should be able to finish that one. No! Xavier Simpson blocks him. An athletic move by Livers to keep the ball in bounds. And they have Jordan Poole in the corner in transition. Can't connect on that one. The Buckeyes rebound. Had that connected, though, that would have been the perfect possession ever in basketball. I mean,
this Chrysler crowd was trying to will that one in. There, you could feel the tension as that ball was in the air.
Foul on the court by Ohio State. Andre Wesson commits the offensive foul, and that got lost in all the excitement of Xavier Simpson coming from nowhere and blocking Caleb Wesson. Isaiah Livers jumping over the baseline to keep that ball in bounds, and Jordan Poole could not quite connect and just simply tear down the center.
And you got to say, Xavier Simpson didn't just come and like swipe it as guards normally do against a big man. You know, got it when it was down at Wesson's hip. He went up and swatted that one.
He really did at the apex of his vertical. Brosdakis chases a rebound that's knocked out of bounds by Wood, so the ball will stay with the Wolverines on effectively a new shot clock. And that Simpson to basically get as high as he possibly could and get that ball from behind, knocked out of Wesson's hands. He might blocks if he can really beef up those numbers.
Well, he's at least one block closer.
That's for sure. Simpson now with the ball. Taking his and now runs back to the perimeter after finding nothing at the elbow. Shoots a three and connects! Xavier Simpson has 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. Single double secured. As Aarons right now comes onto the court, doesn't get too much playing time. Ball is rebounded by Brosdakis, but half a second later, Wesson brings down Teskey, and he is chirping with Xavier Simpson. And a shoving match now is Teskey and Wesson. The officials getting between the players right now, and things are getting chippy. Everything is sorted out for the time being. Poole is yelling and getting pointed at by the refs. Tech there. The crowd is rocking right now, and what an atmosphere this is here in Chrysler Center.
And Jordan Poole is asking for the crowd to get even louder. And I think that all started there. I'm not sure who the foul was called on, but I thought a foul was called on Wesson against Xavier Simpson. Not 100% sure about that, but then Simpson and Wesson were chirping at each other. John Teskey comes in, tries to break it up, and then Wesson shoves John Teskey. And I'm sure a Michigan player is going to end up with the technical and all of that. But if you ask me, I feel like this should really just be on Wesson there.
It was a totally unnecessary foul by Wesson. Teskey never really had a shot at rebounding that ball. And I think that's a frustration foul right there. And the Wolverines have been excellent right now at getting in the Buckeyes' head. Wesson now has 3 fouls. He's in foul trouble. And, I mean, this home court advantage, which is in college basketball, it's as important as it is in any other sport. It's clearly come impact right now. And the way that Xavier Simpson has really just stolen the show in the second half, I think, has really intimidated the Buckeyes. And I think Caleb Wesson finds it personally insulting.
He must, after that display there. And one thing I do want to point out, I don't want to get lost in all this, John Beilein just about sprinted into that huddle to break it up. I've never seen John Beilein move that fast. He was one of the first guys in there. He was getting right into the scrum. Absolutely love seeing the hustle. Really, really great stuff. But you are 100% correct. Xavier Simpson's just really taken control of this game. The Wolverines started out so sloppy to start that second half, or this second half, I should say, and he really needed to step up, take control of the ball. We know how good he is at controlling it. He doesn't have a single turnover here today, which is really incredible, especially with having 10 assists. That's really going to help the assist-to-turnover ratio. But, yeah, he's taken control of the ball, started handling those responsibilities, and really helped this Michigan team calm down and keep a level head.
He really has done a fantastic job. Officials are still deliberating at the scorer's bench as both coaches are talking to their teams. And I think this is the under 12 timeout that we're at right now. I can't say that with absolute confidence, as our own Jack Molino has hooked us up with a replay. Nothing egregious by any player right there. Teammates had to restrict Caleb Wesson, though.
Yeah, and it looks like the arguing started between Z and Wesson. Then Jordan Poole comes over, gives Wesson an earful, as Jordan Poole is known to do, and that's when John Teskey steps in to get in between Poole and Wesson, and that's when the shove comes in. And I feel like that's got to be an automatic technical for Wesson. Now, if a technical is going to be called on Michigan, I got to think it's going to be on Jordan Poole then. But to see that happen and think that it's going to be technical on Poole, technical on Wesson, it all cancels out, that just doesn't seem right to me.
Officials now talking to both head coaches as the students are rocking here in Chrysler. No call yet. Officials are pointing both ways, though, in this huddle. If that's an indication of anything.
Yeah, I'm going to imagine this is going to be a technical on both sides. It's going to offset. We're going to be playing basketball here again shortly, hopefully.
Okay, officials now talking with the Michigan huddle. No call yet. About to make an announcement. I saw 2 1s. There's no 11 on this. There's no number 11 on Michigan. All right, we're getting the call right now. Common foul against Caleb Wesson. And a technical foul against Caleb Wesson. So two for 1 right there. And Keyshawn Woods also Xavier Simpson gets a foul. Woods gets a foul. John Teskey now to shoot a 1-and-1. And John Teskey makes the front end of a 1-and-1. A welcome sight to the Michigan Dates Bowl.
Well, now I'm confused. If Wesson and Woods both got a technical, that's one more technical by Ohio State. So it seems like Michigan should be shooting free throws and getting the ball. I'm not concerned. A little confused by that one.
Teskey connects on his second. He's 2 for 2 from free throw land today. As Washington throws the ball right into Jordan Poole's forearm, and there's a skirmish for the ball. Michigan comes out on top with it, so they lead 50-38 here. 8 minutes to go, and Xavier Simpson with the ball. Simpson and gives it to Jordan Poole, who makes a dangerous move and gets rejected by Woods while going to the basket. Not before getting fouled in the act of shooting, though. He's going to the line, and with that, Michigan, as Ohio State now has 10 fouls. That's about 4 fouls. That's 4 fouls right there. That's 4 fouls in just maybe 30 seconds of play. Michigan is winning the foul battle 10-5 right now as a great Motown Classic shout plays on the big board here on Motown night.
And I was still trying to make sense of everything that happened there before. And I swore I heard that Woods got a foul there over the PA, but it's not coming through on the stat feed, so I'm not really sure. I think that was just double technicals offsetting. That's why there was no fouls in possession there for Michigan, right?
A lot to sort out there. The big development is that Caleb Wesson has 4 fouls.
Yeah, and that's
Ohio State is dead in the water if he fouls out of this game.
That's absolutely that's tough. Just a horrible break for Ohio State. That's a situation right there where clearly Wesson was frustrated about what's been happening the last few minutes here. Ohio State's in a 2-minute-long scoring drought. They've only made 1 of their last 8. And so he lashes out and does something stupid. And now that it was still, Ohio State still was within reach of this one. Only a 10-point game with 8 minutes to go. And now I'd have to agree with you. Ohio State's just about done with him having 4 fouls.
And Wesson will certainly have to spend some time on the bench here with 8 minutes to play. A man who plays his possession is likely to accumulate another foul over this time period. And, I mean, things are looking good here for the Wolverines. Don't want to call this one just yet, but Jordan Poole is the leading scorer in the building tonight. Xavier Simpson is the leading rebounder. He has 1 more rebound than Caleb Wesson. And Xavier Simpson is also the leading assister on the court tonight. As the under 8 timeout is still underway, as I think the Wolverines have the fans here in Ann Arbor ready to shout. Everything going their way so far. Still, I still haven't been able to figure out the foul situation here. It's a head scratcher. It was a head scratcher,
yeah. That's
important note, though. No Wolverine has more than 2 fouls. Right now, Livers has 2. We have not seen much of Charles Matthews here in the second half. He did struggle a bit in the first. Did score 7 points either way, though. I wonder if we'll see more of him as, yes, we do. He comes onto the court. Jordan Poole about to shoot free throws. Brazdeikis, Matthews, Poole, Livers, and Simpson are the Wolverines on the court. I imagine Simpson will stay in this game as long as possible to try to get that triple-double. Muhammad Aarons, Andre Wesson, Woods, and are on the court for the Buckeyes. It's a combined 13 points of offense versus a combined 40 right now. Jordan Poole sinks the first, and the Wolverines have only missed 1 free throw so far as the team are now 8 for 9. Wolverines lead. The second is perfect as Poole didn't touch anything but the net on his 2 free throws. So the Buckeyes now taking the ball down the court, facing their largest deficit of the game. They trail by 16. Aarons gives the ball to Muhammad. To 16 on the shot clock. Washington can't find 5. Plays it back out to Woods now. Aarons, nothing doing. 7 to go on the shot clock. 6, 5. A step back with Brazdeikis in his face. Poole collects that rebound and brings the ball up the court.
And that was absolutely outstanding team defense by the Wolverines.
Poole loses it, though. Washington plays Poole to basically have to sit down on the court with the ball. And now Washington with the ball. Pump fakes, thinks about shooting, but doesn't. Guarded clear. And Xavier Simpson steals the ball out of thin air on a pass that was trying to go backward to Woods. Finds Charles Matthews right below the rim, who does put it away. The ball plays Plinko on the rim for a second before falling down. 56-38. The Wolverines have blown this one wide open.
And Simpson's as good at that as anyone. He pulls up, almost looking like he's going to pull the ball out, set up the half-court offense, and then he slings it down to Matthews underneath the basket when everyone least expects it.
His 11th assist right now, Woods is able to draw a foul from Jordan Poole while shooting a fadeaway jumper. Simpson's up to 11 assists now, and the Michigan record is 16, set by Derek Walton against Nebraska back in 2017. As Ohio State does get the inbound, and Livers fouls Andre Wesson. I believe that was in the act of shooting, so an and one pending here as the Buckeyes reach the 40-point mark. Will they get to 50 is the question.
Well,
they've got to get to at least 57 to win the game.
Well, the way Michigan is playing defense right now as a team is really going to make it difficult for Ohio State. I mean, right now, without Wesson in the game, they're essentially running a 5-out when they have Livers in at the center position. And they're just trying all sorts of off-ball action, running all these kinds of screens to try to get shooters open. Well, every time a shooter comes off a screen, he's got a Michigan defender right on his hip. They're just not giving these guys any room to breathe.
Andre Wesson does give his team some help on offense, makes the free throw and finishes the old play. Wolverines now up by 15. Simpson finds a wide-open Livers in the corner who connects for his third three-pointer of the game. He's now 3 for 5 from beyond the arc. 59-41. Wolverines back up 18. Quick break here for Ahrens, who does finish over Ignis Brazdeikis 2 feet away from the basket. Both offenses picking up here in the final 6 minutes of this one. Wolverines lead by 16.
Of the quick trigger of Isaiah Livers here today. It wasn't that long ago, just in Wisconsin, he looked so hesitant to shoot the ball, even when he had wide open looks from the three-point line. And that even carried over to the Minnesota game. It ended up being only a tight win for the Wolverines. But now he's shooting the basketball.
Simpson on the step back, tries to shoot the ball over a much taller Ladie. That one, it was never too good of a shot. Ohio State in transition can't connect either. They also bank one off the rim. And Brazdeikis is quick coming back in transition. Jordan Poole calls for the ball, though, from the M at midcourt. Thought about shooting, but John Beeline called him off of it. It was trying to play out the shot clock with a 16-point lead and 4:48 to go.
And Ohio State seems content to let him do just that. Defenders hanging right off Jordan Poole.
Poole drives to the rim, finds a wide-open Matthews in the corner. Does not connect, though. Hits the connector of the rim and the backboard. Will be Ohio State ball after a couple empty possessions from the Wolverines. Ahrens guarded by a successful switch, finds Ahrens wide open, and the ball rattles in and out. Simpson gets another rebound. He's 1 away from a double-double and 1 point away from a triple-double. Now, as the field general making some commands for his players down the court, gives it to Poole, back to Brazdeikis, to Matthews as they continue to rotate the ball around the perimeter. Simpson now driving. Holds up and is going to the rim. The skyhook kisses the glass. The crowd goes wild. The double-double is secure. 61-43, Wolverines lead.
Man, I wish that shot right there was to secure a triple-double. Could you imagine this place if that had happened?
And Ladie rattles the ball around the rim. Ohio State misses an easy rebound, gets a more difficult one, and puts it back. So 43-61, and Xavier Simpson just flopped right there.
I have no idea what contact he was even trying to sell. Looked like, I'm not even sure which Ohio State player was walking by him, but it looks like they may have grazed shoulders. And Xavier Simpson just fell to the floor like a sack of bricks.
Maybe a bit of a heat check right there. Everything else is working for him. Why not get into acting right now? Simpson gives the ball to Brazdeikis, who is guarded well and cannot find anything. Blocked, but is fouled in the act of shooting. So he'll go to the line as the Wolverines have a 16-point lead. He has had a quiet 12 points so far today. 2 for 3 from three-point land. He's only shot 7 field goals, but he's shot them well. 4 for 7 in total. 2 for 2. Wolverines are 90% right now on free throws as we enter the under 4 timeout. Brazdeikis can make it 11 for 12. And that's not the biggest difference between this team and last year, but this team shoots free throws well too, or at least okay, which is a huge step up from last year.
Absolutely, and you'd love to see Charles Matthews going 2 of 2 from the line. Xavier Simpson hasn't had a chance to show up ability here today, and those are the two guys that were really a point of concern for this Michigan team last year, and now it's gotten to the point where I'm not sure what their numbers are on the season, but it's not the same type of feeling you had last year when they go to the line.
It sure isn't. Maybe that might be the one thing to damper Xavier Simpson's otherwise perfect day is if he had to take a trip to the free throw line. He's got 11 points, 11 assists. Looks like he's not going to be able to get that Derek Walton record. But he just needs the 1 more rebound or maybe 8 more steals to get to his triple-double.
Yeah, and I don't know if Xavier Simpson's checking his own triple-double watch, but his last rebound, it looks like the ball was going to safely go into the hands of Isaiah Livers, and swooped in, came from underneath Livers and kind of snatched it out of his hands. I think he might know how many rebounds he is away. Or I guess, I don't know if it's a record. From the, what would you call that? From the feet? From the achievement? I don't know.
Yeah.
Not much of a thesaurus.
Well, we'll call it a feat right there of Xavier Simpson. He actually has no blocks. That one that we touted a lot was actually a steal because the ball had not yet left Caleb Weston's hands.
I'm surprised by that because I can see if the ball was still down even near chest level of Wesson, but he had that ball up over his head and was going to the basket. I don't know how that's not called a block, but whatever it goes down as in the stat sheet, still an incredible play.
It's been a wonderful night for Xavier Simpson. He's really been the star right now. Has 11 points. If Matthews can get one more, 5 different Wolverines will have 10 points. And that's why this team is going to be such a difficult out come March. Anyone can be their scorer if they go cold. Unlike last year, where they still made the championship game, but either Mo Wagner, Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman, or Charles Matthews had to have a big game. Otherwise, that team was going nowhere. There was an infamous stat that in games where Duncan Robinson scored at least 6 points, the team was undefeated. It was like 24-0 or something, and a losing record in games where he didn't.
Yeah, and absolutely absurd.
In that championship game, he did not get that 6 points, but
should have known.
If they just let him chuck threes from the beginning, they would have won. But that's all water under the bridge. This is a new team this year, and they are out to make their own March Madness run, trying to get a bid for a 1 seed. As Brazdakis now is going to the free throw line, trying to make this an 18-point lead for the Wolverines, currently up 61-45. Brazdakis with a perfect free throw. Wolverines are now 10 for 11 on the night. Brazdakis now looking to go 4 for 4 himself from the charity stripe. That one's a bit short, but does a game of Plinko and rattles in. So 63-45, Wolverines lead. They've been up 18 on multiple occasions. Have never had a bigger lead, though, as the Buckeyes bring it down the court. Wood the rim, and Simpson gets the rebound. That's a triple-double, and I think Charles Matthews let go of that ball for his teammate. He gets a standing ovation from the crowd here in Chrysler. Almost no one has left. Maybe not too eager to go into that cold. Matthews now Simpson holding it. It down to Livers, down low. 6:05 to go on the shot clock. Livers has no room to work and is charged with an offensive foul. Brings out the Boobirds. Not sure what got the crowd on their feet again.
I absolutely have no idea. They called Livers for the hooking foul, and then once the official indicated that, the crowd started cheering. I don't think they quite understood what was going on.
I suppose not. That's the 4th foul on Livers. With 2 minutes to go, he is in some danger of fouling out. As the crowd now chants Xavier Simpson. Well deserved. Ball passed out to the wing. 4 to go. 3. A goes up and is rebounded by Andre Wesson, who puts that one. No, I spoke too soon. That one goes off the rim. I don't know how he didn't score there. Just tenacious defense right there by the Wolverines. Ball State, though. Before that, I believe Washington took the shot. Before he had to chuck up that shot, that was more or less perfect defense. Ohio State did not have a bad look. They only had terrible looks that entire possession. And the inbound goes off the hands of Ledee, corralled by Xavier Simpson to Livers, who slams that one home. 65, Wolverines up 20.
The tenacity of this Michigan defense, they are up by 20 points now with like less than 3 minutes remaining, and they are still just playing defense as hard as they can. This is absolutely incredible.
Defensive foul against Xavier Simpson. No one's really going to be too bothered by that, though.
And now I don't know if this is a coordinated effort or not, but in the upper bowl of the student section, they are throwing these glow sticks.
They're like
foam,
1 foot long foam glow sticks.
Yeah, and they're all being thrown down into the lower bowl right now. I don't know who started this domino effect, but they're all coming down now.
Caleb Wesson makes his first free throw, and Xavier Simpson is taken out of the game. The crowd goes wild as he gets his standing ovation on a career night from a man who's been a huge player for these Wolverines for the past 3 seasons. All this, Austin Davis onto the court, Adrian Nunez, Colin Castleton, Eli Brooks, and David DeJulius take the court. As Chrysler is rocking, no one is left, it really looks like. Some fans just now leaving. I'd have to guess that has something to do with the cold.
Yeah,
no one eager to get back out there.
No, and after that standing ovation for Xavier Simpson, got to talk about what he's meant to this Michigan basketball team during his career. It's really hard to say who the best player on this team is. It's such a that really gets contributions from all across the lineup, but I don't think there's really any arguing who the heart and soul of this team is, and that's Xavier Simpson. Just the way he plays defense and the way he really just embodies everything about John Beeline's brand of basketball. Hard-nosed defense, a refusal to turn over the basketball, and I just couldn't have a better leader of this team.
By the way, a game still is being played. The least enthusiastic alley-oop in the world has just been completed as Ledee of the Buckeyes slams one home. Weston made his second free throw, and then DeJulius had an ugly three-pointer that didn't go through. So 65-49 Wolverines lead, 42 seconds to go. Austin Davis with his first touch of the night. Castleton launches up a three, goes off the rim, and the Buckeyes now can try to get it to at least 50. 33 to go. Buckeyes pull up for three, rolls around, and DeJulius gets the rebound. We ought to turn down the natural mics right now as the students are letting us know how they feel about Ohio. DeJulius almost that commits him, keeps it on his front court, though. 10 seconds to go. The shot clock is off. Aggressive defense still from the Buckeyes. DeJulius had a chance to go to the rim. Instead, just dribbles it out. And that will end the game. 65-49 victory for the Wolverines. A foam glow stick just hit me in the arm. It's a great atmosphere here in Ann Arbor. And for many students, it's the weekend already on a Tuesday night. But on Wednesday and Thursday, they are really taking their time to celebrate now. A huge win against hated rival Ohio State. And I mean, this is a night that will go down forever in Michigan history as the Xavier Simpson game.
Absolutely. I just haven't seen that dominant of a performance by Xavier his entire Michigan career. He didn't even shoot the ball all that well, but just the way he controlled the basketball, controlled the flow of this game in the second half, when it looked like Michigan just couldn't get a whole lot going there to start the second half, he took over and got them set on the right course and set them up for this dominant victory.
Dominant is really the only way to describe it. Michigan will not be at home until February 9th. Something for everyone to consider. So that will be WCBN's last basketball broadcast until then. We hope you all tune in as Xavier Simpson gets the postgame interview and the fans chant his name one more time. True game. And it WCBN 88.3 FM Ann Arbor. Fans are headed out now into the cold. Be sure to be safe and stay warm if you are listening here in Southeast Michigan or really anywhere in the Midwest. It is just ice cold right now. Make sure if you have any pets to keep those indoors as much as possible because, I mean, it is cold enough to induce frostbite in just a few minutes of being outside. Don't walk home from the game. Take an Uber if you have to. Make sure you have a ride. Great Harbor. Hopefully the weather doesn't change that too much, as it will be 2 cold days. Nothing, though, as ice cold as Xavier Simpson's play.
What a beautiful way to tie it all back in. Absolutely just phenomenal broadcasting right there.
Thank you, Nate. This will be a game remembered as the Xavier Simpson game. You will know it as that in a few years' time. I mean, maybe he'll do something better, but it's been we're heading in here at 11 right now, any minute now. Any closing thoughts here from the Xavier Simpson game?
Nothing really. It's hit 11 p.m. It's late. It's cold out there. I want to get home.
And I'm sure the Buckeyes are excited to head back to Columbus. That'll do it from us. I've been Daniel Thompson alongside Nate Sorensen. We thank Andrew Miller and Jack Molino for their coverage as well. We wish you, as always, a good day, a warm night, and a go blue.